We are pleased to share with you the catalog cover piece for our September auction, a first edition of the Book of Mormon, with an excellent and appropriate provenance from an early Mormon family. The Book of Mormon was written by Joseph Smith Jr. and printed in Palmyra, New York, for the author in 1830. This handsome first edition has the attendant characteristics seen in similar copies, and is still in good condition in the original full sheet binding without restoration. This is a special copy of the first edition, as it was owned by John Wesley Brackenbury, the son of the first Mormon martyr Joseph Blanchett Brackenbury, and stepson of Joseph Smith Jr., the author of the Book of Mormon and founder of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Brackenbury wrote his name in pencil on the front paste down, and also in pencil on the rear paste down. Brackenbury's Notary Public embossed seal is on the testimony leaf at rear, and there are pencil notes throughout in Brackenbury's hand. This copy belonged to John Wesley Brackenbury, the son of Joseph Blanchett Brackenbury, and as the younger Brackenbury was only 1 year old at the time of publication, and his father was a very early follower of Joseph Smith and baptized as a Latter-day Saint in 1831, only a year after the Mormon Church was founded, it is likely that this would have originally been Joseph Blanchett Brackenbury's copy. Joseph Blanchett Brackenbury was ordained an elder the day after being baptized and became a high priest 6 months later, ordained by Oliver Cowdery, one of the 3 witnesses of the Golden Plates. One of the first missionaries for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the elder Brackenbury traveled to New York State in January of 1832, where he was poisoned with arsenic by townsfolk opposed to Mormonism, becoming what has been described as the faith's first martyr, leaving behind a widow and young children. Brackenbury's family struggled and was ultimately driven out of their home in Jackson County, Missouri by an anti-Mormon mob. After spending a night hiding in a cornfield, 3-year-old John and his family returned to their home the next morning. After spending a somewhat nomadic few years traveling the Midwest and Far West, following the LDS Saints, the family ended up in Nauvoo, where in the early 1840s, Elizabeth Davis Goldsmith Brackenbury Durfee, the widowed mother of John Wesley Brackenbury, became the 12th wife of Joseph Smith. Years after Smith's death, the Brackenburys eventually made their way to Independence, Missouri, the so-called New Jerusalem, or City of Zion. As the son of very early Mormon followers and as the stepson of the founder of the movement, it is no surprise that John Wesley Brackenbury kept and studied the Book of Mormon all his life. As a child, he was baptized to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and in 1866 he was baptized into the Reorganized Church of Latter-day Saints, a splinter Mormon group led by Joseph Smith III, who founded the group as prophet president after the death of his father, Joseph Smith Jr. The RLDS was based in Independent, Missouri, in Jackson County, John Brackenbury's family's home for most of his life. An ever-faithful follower until his death in 1902, he was serving as a member of the Quorum of Elders as late as 1900. Along with the Book of Mormon, this lot also includes 17 original photographs, mostly cabinet portraits and 110 type, circa 1900, of members of the Brackenbury, Smith, and Curtis families of Missouri, Kansas, and Iowa, including 3 portraits of John Wesley Brackenbury. Many of the photographs bear the printed stamp of the Lamoni, Iowa studio run by Brackenbury's son Charles in several incarnations: Lawhorn and Brackenbury, Julian and Brackenbury and Danielson, and others. One large photograph is titled First Quorum of Elders, April 1900, with Brackenbury one of the 25 men pictured. First man on the viewer's left, second row from the top. This photo, with a notation on the back that the photographer was Charlie Brackenbury, has a few scratches to the image area, but is in very good condition. The smaller photographs, which include Brackenbury's studio portraits of Joseph Smith III and his brother, Alexander Hale Smith, are in generally excellent condition. This copy of the Book of Mormon and these family photographs have been kept together and passed down through generations of Brackenbury's descendants. These items, never before offered for sale, are consigned from a direct descendant of John Wesley Brackenbury. Photographs in this collection include John Wesley Brackenbury, 2 identical photographs, one in an oval mat, one in a square mat, Joseph Smith III, eldest surviving son of LDS Church founder Joseph Smith Jr. and his first wife, Emma Hale Smith. Joseph Smith III was anointed prophet leader when his father died and was the head of the Reorganized Latter-day Saints. A.H. Smith, or Alexander Hale Smith, third surviving son of Joseph Smith Jr., a woman seated next to a man propped up in bed, who appears to be J.W. Brackenbury and perhaps his wife Nanny Curtis Brackenbury. Charles Brackenbury, son of John Wesley Brackenbury. Alice and Charles Brackenbury, daughter-in-law and son of John Wesley Brackenbury. Vivian Brackenbury, granddaughter of John Wesley Brackenbury. Wallace Brackenbury, grandson of John Wesley Brackenbury. Hazel Brackenbury. Luna Noble, daughter of John Wesley Brackenbury. Nell and Walter Pearson, John Wesley Brackenbury's daughter and son-in-law. An unidentified woman. 10 type of Smith or Curtis. Group of 10 women. And group of 22 men and women. The photographs in this lot consist of portraits from 3 prominent Mormon families, the Smiths, the Brackenburys, and the Curtises. The Smith photographs in this lot show Joseph Smith III and his brother, Alexander Hale Smith, both sons of Joseph Smith Jr., founder of the Mormon Church, and his first wife, Emma Hale Smith. These photographs were taken by Charles Brackenbury, son of the owner of this Book of Mormon. The Brackenburys, headed by Joseph Blanchett Brackenbury, a very early follower of Smith and the first Mormon martyr who was murdered while serving a mission, left behind a widow and children. His widow, Elizabeth, became the 12th wife of Joseph Smith Jr. Their son, John Wesley Brackenbury, was the owner of this Book of Mormon and a lifelong devout Mormon. Many of the photographs in this collection are portraits of John Wesley Brackenbury, his children and grandchildren. The Curtis family also had early connections with the Mormon Church. Thomas Curtis and his wife Percy were very early converts and followed Smith and other saints from Chautauqua County in New York to Ohio and then to Missouri. Their son, Josiah Curtis, joined the Mormon Battalion at the age of 16 and fought in the U.S.-Mexican War. He settled in Missouri and joined the RLDS. His daughter Nancy Curtis, called Nanny, married John W. Brackenbury, who was considerably older, and both were baptized in the RLDS, which was headed by Joseph Smith III, who was a close friend of John Wesley Brackenbury from their childhood spent together at Nauvoo. 3 prominent Mormon families interconnected with strong family ties. We hope you have enjoyed the presentation of this fabulous book, which is now open for bidding. If you have any further questions, please feel free to contact James Gannon at 214-409-1609 or email him at jamesg@ha.com. Thank you for watching.